Awesome. So thanks for the video. We're going to switch it over to Cecilia. She's right over at the feeder.
Yep, here I am on the feeder of the HP Indigo 12,000. So you saw the younger sister, the smaller sister of the 12. So as I'm going through talking about the 12,000, I do some comparisons of the 79 to understand a little bit the differences. So here at the 12,000, the maximum paper size that I can run is at 29.52 by 20.86 inches, okay? On your 79, it's a 13 by 19 size. So you can see the black one is the 7K or the 79 size. You see the difference between both of them. So on both of them, we can run from 50 encoded text all the way up to 18 points. We can also go up to all the way up to 24 points. So that gives you some room there. You can do some light packaging. You can do all different kinds of applications. We have some prepared for you on the other side. I want to go over it. But here at the feeder, that's where we load the paper. So one of the interesting things on this machine is that I can load a pallet of paper. The paper will come in a pallet, shrink wrap, we take the plastic out, we'll load it inside, the machine automatically will center the paper. Versus what you saw in the video, on the 7K, we have 4 drawers. We do also have the drawers over here. So when we're looking at the pallet feeder, it's almost like the offsets type of machine that you load the paper. The technology here is awesome to the point there. I load the paper, I tell the press what paper it's in there, machine knows what to do with it. All the adjustments of air, all those things are done automatically. So for a big run, big production, big volume, I like to load the paper here, load the pallets. I also like to have some of that paper, one of the drawers, because when it runs out of here, we'll automatically continue from there. Another thing that we can do, I can have one file being printed, imagine a magazine or a book. I can collate the file as it goes. To have page 1, 2, 3, you have a complete book set, and then we'll do another copy, so and so. The other thing I can do is I can have one file printing utilizing different substrates. So I have 3 different substrates on this press. So I can do the book cover, the contents, or I can have 3 different files with 3 different substrates, let the machine run them. So you saw a little bit the pile. This is one of the drawers. So it's a big one. The 7K, really, really similar, but to a smaller size, the 13 by 19. So here I load the paper manually into the drawer, use the guides to adjust it to the size, close it, let the press know what paper I loaded in, and then it's ready to start running some jobs. So from here, I'm going to switch to the engine where I want to show you where the magic happens. We're going to move over here. And can you get closer? There we go. We get closer here to the engine. So this is the engine. This is where the magic happens. This is where we put ink on paper. Now, we use the same concept as the offset technology, okay? Because we have the same quality, the same way that we put ink on paper, same thing. We use a plate, we use a blanket. Now, differences. This is a digital press. So my plate, this is rewritable. While in offsets to print 4 colors, you need 1 plate for each color. Over here, I have 1 plate for all the colors. So writes the first one, erases the second one, and so and so. So this will allow me to print a lot of jobs. So this plate strapped around the cylinder over here. Then I have a blanket, really, really similar with the offset technology. That's my blanket on one side. On the other one, I can have, this is a used one, so you see this line over here. It's a non-preview, so I can print a job here and a job there. I have room for 2. And then down here, we'll talk a little bit more about it on the other side, because this, we call them bits. Basically, it's like an ink cartridge, right? So this is where the ink will go to the plate, from the plates, to the blanket, from the blankets, to the paper that it's in this roller over here. So it's a really simple technology. The benefit of this is I can print thousands of the same thing. I can have 1 page and I can say I want to print 5,000 copies, for example. Or I can have a job, I'm going to print 5,000 sheets, and they're all different because I can do variable data. I can do a number on each one of them. I can have a name and an address for direct mailing, for example. I can have all of that plus also images that will change. Imagine when something shipped to me, it shows my picture. So that's the benefit of the digital. We can do all the same, all different, doesn't matter. So from here down is just the paper path that goes to the other side. Hey, Darren, can you hit the print button? Can we get a job printed here?
Well,
So I want
yeah.
to show you. I want to show you the speed of the machine. I want to show you a little bit of when it's running. But it's a really simple concept. We call it the press. It's made to last. And the quality with the offset is just amazing. We have some samples here. When you compare side by side, it's really hard to tell which one is which. So we'll get the roll in a second. They'll get
And
going.
Cecilia, a big part
Yeah.
of that is, as you were saying, the process is completely offset. It just happens to be digital offset.
Yeah.
So the reason for showing the blanket, for showing the press, if you're familiar with offset printing, you'll recognize that those are two components that allow us to not only have the benefits of digital, but then also match offset. So all the characteristics of offset also are over and work with this press as well.
Exactly, exactly. And our inks will show you, so the ink cabinet's on the back of the press. Darren will show you that. Our inks are liquid. So it's not a toner, it's not none of that. It's ink particles that are floating in oil, like I think about a mineral oil, almost the consistency of it. And that is just to carry the ink particles all the way to my beds here. See them going up and down? We're printing right now. Going to the blanket paper. It's coming out, it's dry. I can just take it out of the proof tray or the stacker and I can just go and cut it. I can take it to my finishing, whatever needs to be done. So this is the HP Indigo running. So from here, I'm going to switch to there. We'll talk a little bit about color. You can see right here, oh, the other corner. You can see right here, the sheet's coming out. So from here, Darren, you want to talk a little bit about color?
Let's do it. Okay, great. So thank you, Cecilia. Listen, Cecilia's doing the magic, but we have to make sure that that magic is always repeating itself the same way. We need color consistency that's in here. So we have the tools that are in place. Inside the press, there's a built-in spectrophotometer that helps to ensure color accuracy and color consistency. Run from run and press from press. And when I mean press from press, we can share that information of your color, right? We can color nerd out, right? Because there's so much power that you have with matching this consistency from press to press. So that's the advantage of having the built-in spectrophotometers. You can even match them for your other equipment that's in there. So the spectrophotometer has one of those features. There is also behind here built-in inline spectrophotometers. So that's another level for consistency, for measuring, for keeping the digital eyes on how those sheets are coming out. And let's face it, when you have a couple months that you're waiting on approval from so many different types of people, a month later, that color's got to match, right? That helps to do that. Now, behind me, you had that, but I also want to talk now about inks, right? So in here, this is where our inks are stored. This press has the ability to have 7 ink stations. We have premium white, we have your process colors, and we have violet and orange. This is for what we call extended gamut. I'm going to show some samples of that because that helps with your folding carton for matching brands. We all know that orange logo that's in there. It needs to match that Delta E. That's very, very important. Our technology has that capability that's in there. This is where the inks are going. We also have in the HP Indigo 7K, there's even other inks like silver that we can use, fluorescent inks that we can use. So Cecilia's going to print a couple of files and sheets that are coming out. We ran that 4-color job that was going to the stacker that was in there. But a nice thing that the presses can do is you can be running a job to the stacker, and you can actually go and run one of these press proofs, right? So this happens to be the black substrate with white ink that's underneath, the premium white ink, and then your process colors. This is for a book cover, right? A book cover that's in here. You can also think about that light folding carton that we were talking about, right? So this has the white ink that's in there. This is for carrying one of the, your products that you have to make stand out on that shelf. That's one of the inks that does an excellent job at that.
And Darren, you can also talk to the fact on the light packaging side, you have the option of adding full variable versioning, any of that, right? With the press. That's the beauty of being able to run packaging within that press.
Oh yeah, yeah. So listen, this isn't a packaging, but it's a packaging grade that's in there. And I wanted to show these, right? Because this is the variable data. We can have pictures. You can have type that is customized and personalized for that particular market. Like Cecilia was showing in the engine, how that writing head, it changes it to David, to Bill, on the fly, fast speeds that are in there. Thank you, Cecilia. So Cecilia, just hit this with a, look at the reflection on this. Okay, so this is a foil board coming fresh out of the press. That's with that's with the white, premium white ink. And where the white is, that's where it's not shining on the elements, but where you want it to show, this is your finished piece, right? Beautiful, right? And it's all about that tactile feel. It's that gotcha, the shiny object. You make it look like it's possible. These presses, they allow for that. Go ahead, Cecilia, pop it up there.
My favorite one on that material, on the foil.
Oh, my. Yes.
So you can see it right here. So it's a silver material. When we want to see silver golds, we just print the fur colors on top of it. And our inks are not opaque, they have the translucent. You can play with some of the cool effects. Wait, you don't want to see that? You just put white under, and the white ink will stimulate your paper. So it allows you to do something like this.
Nice. You have a campaign that's coming up real quick that requires the pink ink, right? So made these nice boxes that are in there. That's a pink ink. Substrate choices. Oh my gosh. So I used to sell paper, right? So you have craft, pearl, synthetic, canvas, Tyvek. So think of all those applications where we're going, like a running event or something that's outside that you need it more durable, or synthetic, a plastic card, right? So that's like a 18 mil PVC. So Cecilia's going to show you a couple things. Yeah, Cecilia's going to show. Let's switch to the hover cam. Let's start there.
So Darren mentioned that we have orange and violet at the press right now. So there'll be some Pantone colors, and we're proud because we can match up to 97% of the Pantone colors. We can nail them. So here we have an example of some tough ones, which is a Pantone 151. It's just a reference, right? So we can print this with fur colors only, or we can add those extended gamut, orange, violet, and green. You can see on the screen, see how vibrant this green is, because we're using the green ink, this blue, or this orange. So to expand the Pantone color, add orange, violet, and green, and then we can match them if necessary. There's some Pantone colors it's not necessary. And other examples that Darren mentioned with all the fluorescent inks. We have the pink, the green, the orange, and also the yellow. They are fluorescent, so they will glow under the UV lights. And another thing that we talk about is that with the 7K, you can do, let me kind of get closer, move this way a little bit. You can do silver ink on the 7K. So you see how shiny it is over here. When we open it, you can see all the metallic colors that you can do with its silver ink. So what we do silver first, then we lay a combination of 4 colors on top of it. And you can get some gold, you can get some silvers, dark silvers, light silvers, and all the metallic colors that we have there. So that's another possibility of something that can be done. There's some customers that really like to do silver under the images because it gives it a really cool look. It's another option out there. Darren, what you have?
I got playing cards. Take your pick, right? So here's with a nice felt, right? So you have some substrates that are really super. This is a pearlescent. We have those, like you saw, the fluorescence. I got a synthetic. I got white ink, right, on that black substrate. I like putting all of these together, right? Because that shows the breadth of the ink choices along with the substrates. You got that file? We can make it happen. Yeah. Right. So there's another one. Look, oh my gosh, this is nice synthetic with white. See how you white this through there? See that? So excellent things are going on. Cecilia, did you show this one already? Okay, awesome. So here's these 3 types of choices that you have, right? You got your 4-color process. If they want that spot ink that's in there, you can go with a dedicated ink station for this Pantone. You can match even your custom if you want your custom.
And Darren, maybe what we should just comment on that is similar to what you would see in an offset environment. If when you're designing for a job, you have a spot color that you know you can't get there out of a 4-color build, you can obviously designate that as a spot color in an offset build. Well, with the Indigo press, you can do the same thing. There's a couple of different ways, and Darren will continue to talk about extended gamut, but even and up to the point to where you can order that specific spot color directly for the press, same way you would in an offset press. So again, if you have those types of scenarios, you want to talk to the folks at Integ about what it would take in order to be able to enable dead-on spot color match for corporate colors and brands. Sorry, Darren, go ahead.
Bill, you said it all, man. I mean, that's really, really good because you can reach those vertical markets with the demands of matching those steady colors that are in there, and then you also have the high productivity that's involved with it. So I think you did a great sum up. What's next?
So don't be afraid of the digital capabilities as far as when it comes to, if you think to your mind, we can't get there because, you know, typically we run it offset, it's a spot color. Talk to the folks, they'll be able to go ahead and tell you the best way to get there.
Yeah, like this is for a 24-point board, and we have that extended gamut that's in there. And then can you grab me the finished piece? Then it turns into something that we actually use for our events, where it's a nice bag that has good sturdy ability to put some food in or something else that's in there. Great thing.
It's Darren's lunchbox.
Yeah. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we want to give you like a breathe through the press, show you the capabilities, and more than anything, the versatility of these machines. We're the digital, in the digital market, there's not a lot of machines with all this versatility. We're talking about all the different substrates they can run on, all the different inks they can load on your machine. Easy switch or easy swap from one color to the other. It's really unbelievable.
And even on top of it, we got to give a Bill a plug, is that our business development helps along with those types of projects. So you might be a little bit at first a little intimidated by all this technology and all this that's going on, but we want to ensure that it's like an education process and it's a can-do opportunity that we can help with that. So we enjoy this. We like seeing your ideas come to reality. We hope that this little brief time, we would always love to have you guys come and do a tour and to press the buttons to run the press, but for virtual sakes, here we are.
Right. No, that's
Thank
fantastic. Actually, Cecilia and Darren, that's fantastic. You know, what we were looking to do is to show the flexibility of the press and what, as brands, as customers for Integ, what they could expect as far as the output, quality, and then potentially what is possible. So I think that's always going to be something that, we continually try to educate, let folks know it's there, but let your imagination run wild. So Ken Terrell, Ken is our local sales rep.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to see if there was, before we move into a few more things that I was going to say as far as where else the press can play, I thought maybe we would, can you let us know if there's any questions specifically maybe for the press with Darren and Cecilia before we move on?
Absolutely. We do actually have one that most of the others have been answered. And if anything is missing or there was something else you wanted us to elaborate on, please feel free to ask again for more detail. The one that I have right now, and Darren, you touched on it a little bit with the gamut extension colors that are in the press, but a lot of the Integ customers do have brand colors that are very, not only very important, but very difficult to hit in the conventional CMY color space. And I've got a question about, does HP offer PMS medium purple as a spot color ink? Could you maybe touch on a couple different ways that we could address something like PMS medium purple?
Yeah, sure, Ken. So who asked the question? Thank you. That would be a custom color, and how the process works is you can, if you have a swatch that is available for that, we can use that to take to the to where the inks are actually manufactured. There's two places. There's one in Israel and also in APJ, and soon to be coming to RIT in New York. And what they will do is that they'll find the those lab values and the inks that are used with that. There's actually 11 base inks, and the goal is to match the color. So with those ink pigments, they'll draw down a formula that matches for that custom, send it to make sure that it's that match that you're looking for, and then produce it based off of the volume that you requested. So sometimes it might take about 3 weeks. So just give yourself some time on the project.
Yeah, and in the event that maybe we don't want to go to a single spot color ink, are there ways to maybe hit medium purple using, kind of what we already have on hand?
Yes.
Yep.
So there's actually inside the digital front ends, the RIPs of the HP Indigo presses, there are formulas that are over there based upon your ink set, and by the ink set, it's the CMYK. So if you're trying to match it in a CMYK, it will give you those values. If you have the extended gamut that's in there, and I don't know what that color looks like, but if it uses something like the violet that's in there, it might use like 70% of the violet and then less cyan and magenta to make that up to match closer. Just like Cecilia said, 97% we can match the Pantone colors with the spot, and with the extended gamut, it's about 92%. So there's a high likely chance that you can get within the delta E. They have values on there that you can achieve that. Good question.
So you can do 4 colors. If 4 colors is not, it's not within what you're looking for, you can add orange, violet, or green, or you can just order Pantone 354, get it, install on your machine, and run the job with that Pantone color as a spot color.
Perfect. All righty. At this point, that's all the questions we have right now. Assuming that everybody else's questions were adequately answered with what we typed in. So with that, I'll send it back to you, Bill.
Yeah, sounds good. No, and as you're thinking, I'm going to go through a few things. Darren, Cecilia, thank you very much for the technology. If you can stick around a little bit in case there's some additional questions at the end.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of other things that just from the standpoint of how it helps brands, the technology. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. And bear with me for just a second. But as I was saying within there, you know, the Indigo value proposition is really about the technology itself, the extent of the substrates that you're able to go ahead and actually, let me get to this and I'll pull it up. The substrates you're able to do, and then also the inks themselves. So that's the technology itself, and it really takes everything that you've always done digitally and gives you or in an offset environment, and gives you the opportunity to do that in a digital environment. So again, the quality is extremely important. Hitting colors is extremely important. But now you get to mix in the digital capabilities. Let's talk about a couple of what those are. From your perspective on the brand side or on the customer side, the technology also allows you to become extremely efficient, extremely efficient. What do we mean by that? Through COVID, one of the big things that we saw was there was a huge increase in the amount of jobs, the amount of work that was procured via the internet. And obviously print is no exception to that. But why? If you take a look from an efficiency standpoint, what you're able to do by utilizing the internet to go ahead and drive some of those jobs is you're able to then have product that you've already designed, whether that's pocket folders, whether that's postcards, whether that's sell sheets, where you've got those standardized products that are online, and then you don't have to resubmit, redesign. What you can do is go online, pick that actual product, order it, have it drop down directly over to the folks at Integ, and then they can be manufactured. So there's an efficiency that goes into the actual upfront design and procurement of work, but then there's also effectiveness as well. Now, when we say effectiveness, typically what you'd have to do in the past is design for each additional persona that you may want to speak to. So let's take it in an educational environment. Maybe you had to design for specific majors if you were looking to reach out and communicate with prospective students that were coming in. Well, if you have the same base design all the time, and you had certain base information that was going to go out about the university, and then you could go ahead and designate the version online based on major, whether it's sociology, whether it's engineering, whatever it may be. What you can do is have the benefit of designing an overall piece and then having the version with quantity completed based on the specific target you're looking to talk to. So again, that makes that communication piece more effective and not yet at the level of being 100% fully personalized. But utilizing the internet, and what we typically call these are storefronts or portals, it's able to make it extremely effective and extremely efficient as far as the type of communication piece that you're looking to get and then you're looking to utilize for your marketing, your sales efforts, your communications efforts. So that's in addition to what you see from a manufacturing standpoint, there's also the efficiency and the effectiveness standpoint of what the technology brings. The other area that I want to make sure that we mention is the technology allows you to have better conversations. Now that can be with stakeholders across the board, but typically what we talk about is in people that you're looking to communicate within an acquisition or within a sales process. So typically when we talk about that, we're mentioning direct mail and we're talking about variable data. This slide here, what this actually does is it just talks to some of the different points that are critical when you're talking about the creation of a variable data piece. Of course, the first place where you have to start is you have to start with the data itself. So that can be coming out of your CRM, that can be coming out of your sales system. It can be coming out of anything that stores that past history or characteristics of the people that you're looking to communicate with. The second thing that you would need to do is you need to make sure that you create a template that is going to be utilized for the look and feel of the piece. So whether it's a 4-page sell sheet, whether it's a postcard, whatever it may be, you want to set up that overall what we call a template. And within that template, you're going to have the overall design, but then you're also going to have placeholders for where the data is going to flow. The third thing is you're going to have the creation of the data. So that's working with the folks at Integ to make sure that you understand what type of format does the data need to be in order to flow and execute the creation of these individualized one-off pieces. So as you can see from what is there in the overall data piece in 3, it's things like name, gender, age, any of the characteristics that are going to be important as far as creating that data-driven, individualized communication piece. So then you've got all those things. You've got the rule set up as far as this particular gender equals this kind of color, flavor based on age, offer based on income, map based on location. And once that is set up, what's happening is the data is flowing, the process is automated so that the individual pieces are created based on what the data is saying. So when we talk about having better conversations, we're typically talking about variable data. Let's take a real life example to close on for what we're talking about as far as on the HP side. This was a campaign that was done by Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut. Now, Trinity College is a small liberal arts college, and they've always done a great job of their annual fundraising. Well, they were issued a challenge back in 2011 from a group of alumni that said, hey, look, if you can stay within the top 10 and reach a goal of 4 million in donations from the alumni, we're going to match it. So that was a pretty big goal, and they wanted to make sure that they were as effective as they could possibly be in the overall communication to try to drive this fundraising activity. So let's take a look at the piece. What they had, and this is the back side of the piece, what you saw on that previous is the other side of the piece, right? So this is the back side of the piece, and this is where a lot of that personalization is. So if you go back to what we talked about on VDP, template was set up, the data was set, and then this is what we were able to do. They actually had a personalized message. So they had the VDP place for the name and then a message that was to the recipient. But then they also had variable imagery that was based on the time that they were at the university. So you can't really see it in this, but it has an actual date of when they graduated. There's a record in the lower left-hand corner, or a form of music, I should say, before we keep going. And then in the bottom right-hand, a ticket for a movie. So what they would do is, based on the data, based on the time that they were there, the piece would actually change. So now you can see the image has changed slightly. You've gone from a record to a cassette, and the movie has changed. Also, the tassel changed from graduating in 58 to 78. Keep advancing forward. Now we're in 1988. Picture changes. Now you're a Polaroid. The mixtape, I'm old enough to remember that. The mixtape changes. And then actually take a look at the movie tickets. The movie ticket changes as well. Let's go to 1998. Same thing. All of this changes. So everybody that received this, based on that data, received the imagery that was appropriate for the time that they were at. And then finally, we got up to the more recent where you had digital music. It switches over to 98. What were the results? The results were they accomplished the goal that they needed to get to, hit the 4 million, and ended up getting that additional 4 million in a gift. So really looking to utilize what they knew about the audience to drive the results. And at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for. How do you improve the results based on what you know about what the recipient or the customer is expecting or thinks you should know? So again, thought it would be viable just to show and important to show you how it's actually being utilized. And at the end of the day, it's about the impact of what you can do with the piece when you're really looking to drive it home. Again, if you have projects or if you're thinking, how can we get better at this? Get together with the group at Integ, find out how they might be able to help you, evaluate what you're currently doing and how they can utilize the technology to help you do it better. Okay. So with that, David, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to toss it back over to you so that you can bring us on home.
Excellent, Raul. Real quick, before we move to David, Megan asked a really good question, Bill. Is there a limit on the number of variations in the data? And if so, what is it?
So the good news is that every inch of that page can be personalized. I think what you want to make sure that you do is you figure out how are you going to be as effective as you can be. So what is the right amount of data that you use? So the questions that the folks at Integ can ask you is what are you trying to accomplish? How have you done it in the past? How's it working for you? And typically with those types of programs, you're going to establish and benchmark what you've always done. You're going to try some things that may make it a little bit different, and then you're going to gauge the results. And then you're going to look for the results that you want to get to. You'll tweak it until you get to the desired outcome that you want. you lock it in, and then that's the program that you run with. Roundabout way to say you can have as many as you want. The question becomes, what's the best effective number of variants that you should have in the piece? So get together, we'll help figure that out.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Bill. David, would you like to take it from here?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Cecilia. Great presentation. I know that you've thrown a lot at us in a short period of time. Just me knowing the press, but still seeing all the samples and all the things that it's capable of doing. What I think would be a good next step is we've recorded this seminar, this webinar, and so we'll put it on our website, and go back and look at it and say, I like that idea, I like this idea, and then that'll give you kind of another look other than what you saw today. And so and then from there, I would say contact your representative here at Integ, and then let's have a conversation about how to make those embellishments happen and making those ideas come to life. And so if you're a designer, you may have some questions, and we can get you in the right place, in our team. And then if HP needs to get involved, certainly we'll do that. But or if you're just a project kind of a manager, and you say, okay, I've got some timelines that I need to meet, or we can certainly work with you on those things, because digital is so is fantastic for meeting those hard timelines. And so that would be one area. And then from what fits on digital, maybe there's some questions about what's the price range as far as how do I go from digital to traditional. We'll help you with that. There's the sheet size is so large, it's the same as our half press, our 20 by 29 press, and so it's the largest out there, and we can put, let's say, 10, 12 cards, postcards to a sheet. And so the end quantity can be anywhere from, can get up to 10, 15, 20,000 final pieces. And so you don't normally think of that as a digital job, but because of the sheet's so large that we can do it economically. And so there is a conversation to be had about, hey, what fits well on the digital press as far as the pricing piece. And then the come see it, come to the plants, come send us some files. We'll do some samples for you. We can make some adjustments to colors, just like you can on a traditional press. And the digital typically is a more vibrant, more kind of stands out a little more on the page than traditional, and you need to see that and know that. And so we can certainly take jobs and put them on different presses and be able to match those up, and we'd like to have that opportunity to be able to show some of that as well. So and I think just from our standpoint, everything we do, we invest, in this technology to help our clients, and it's a partnership. So I know you've got some things maybe that's coming up this year. Hopefully we'll have events again, and you'll be starting to think about those. So get us involved as early as you can, from a creative standpoint, and we'll dream together as far as what we can do with this new technology. And I just appreciate you guys' time today. I know we're gonna cut it a little bit short, which is good. I know you're all busy, and go to the website. We'll post the webinar there. We're planning on sending some samples out. So if you want some, contact someone here, and we may, I'll talk afterwards, but we may send it out to all the attendees. So you probably get something anyway. So, with that, just stay safe, continue to, do what we can, and we look forward to seeing you soon. And thanks again so much for all that you do with us, and we so much appreciate you guys. Don't ever We never take it for granted, you know, that you have a lot of opportunities and lots of relationships out there. And we're just very fortunate that you're willing to work with our staff and our families. So with that, I'll say, I'll turn it over. Do you have anything else over there? If not, we'll say good day, good luck, and you know, have a great week.
David, the last thing that I would just say, just so that you know, everybody that's on understands, the 15K and the 7K is the most advanced digital presses that HP has. So from a capability standpoint, Integ has invested in the latest and the most advanced technology, not only in the industry, but what we have as far as HP. So if it's possible with digital, Integ's going to be able to help you get there. And don't be afraid, bring anything to it. We can try to figure out how to get it done. So with that, I would just build on top. I think it's fantastic what you folks have done from an investment standpoint, and we're excited to have you as a partner.
Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.